Hello traders, this is Rich from tradesight. This is a look at the leading stocks via our proprietary scans that we use the Q-Link product, the add-on for the eSignal platform to give us our data in real time. This is going to be for the coming session. This is going to be for Monday, April 29th, 2013. We had an interesting session. We're still getting earnings, so things are still definitely in motion. As you can see from the scans here, we don't really have a bias either way, but we do have signals on both sides. The signals on both sides just kind of scramble everything up and don't give us any kind of predisposition for the day. So we'll go in willing to play the tape both ways. A couple things here. There's quite a bit of volume bumps. You can see the huge volume that we saw in Amazon after the earnings. That had a very weak session. 6% below the open and 1.5% below the VWAP, but we don't have a signal there. So we'll have to see if that just needs a kind of an inside resting day on Monday. Apple has an upside CPS buy signal, had a strong finish, closing at 417.20. Definitely one of the standouts in the day. And this was also on increased volume, so that makes that signal more notable. Baidu's got an upside camouflage buy signal. Closed below the VWAP, but decently above the open on big volume after reporting. So definitely keep an eye on that for Monday. Had a volume bump in Altera that had a very weak session, about 2% below the open and closed below the VWAP as well. First Solar's got a CPS downside signal, but it's on a little bit later volume. That had a fairly weak session. KLA10 Core, that's CLAC, had a very strong session, really good volume, 1.5% above the VWAP, so they were bidding for it right into the close, which gives it a little bit more of a chance to continue in the next session. So definitely going to have that on the list as well. Wynn Resorts has a camouflage sell signal on some pretty good volume. Qualcomm's conflicted here with the signal on each side. Fairly weak session, 1.5% below the open on increased volume. Sina, upside CPS buy signal, kind of probably queuing off of Baidu. Really strong candle on the chart, 3.5% above, or 3% above the open on increased volume there. Onto the financials. Financials, a little bit better to buy here according to the scans. We've got a camouflage buy signal in Bank of America and a CPS upside signal in the Wells Fargo. None of these have volume bumps though, as you can note here. Looking at the energy stocks, this is definitely biased to the buy side. There's no sell signals. We've got quite a few buy indications. ACI and BP both have camouflage buy signals. Chevron, Devon and Rig have upside CPS signals. So definitely keeping those on the list for Monday. Notable weakness here in BTU, 2.5% below the open, but it was on unremarkable volume. As far as the generals go, couple of buys here. There's one conflicted situation with the 3M, so we'll just let that sort itself out on Monday. Upside signal on Pfizer, closed down in the day but above the open, giving us a camouflage buy signal. That was 3% above the open on some pretty good volume. Also saw a volume bump here in Dow Chemical, fairly weak, 1% below the open, even though the Dow was higher on the day. So a little bit of a divergence there to perhaps play on Monday. Housing stocks were definitely better to buy. NVR, Hovnanian, and Toll Brothers all have upside CPS buy signals. The only one sticking out is DHI, which has a differential sell signal. Did have a strong day, but pulled back well off the high on some pretty good volume. Transport CSX has a camouflage sell signal on light volume. And finally, the commodities. Absence of signals here. A lot of the commodity stocks are pretty oversold, especially the precious metals names. So keep those on your list for Monday. Look at ABX, almost 4% below the open and well below the day's VWAP, but on lower volume. So perhaps the selling starting to run its course here, as we're not seeing volume increases. Double G really weak again too. The silver stocks were weak. Look at silver Wheaton, 3.5% below the open. Could be getting close to perhaps a turn here for the better, and time to start thinking about a potential reversal. Looking for that first day up where we get that strong candle. We close at or near the highs. We'll try and sniff that out in the lab and post some calls if we see them. That's going to be it for today. As always, thanks for listening. This has been Rich for TradeSight.